My name is Drew Waldron, and I am on with the co-founder of Create Labs, Abran Maldonado. Abran, thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Now, what first led you down the path of developing a career for yourself in technology and then later on AI?
Sure. So I actually came to it very organically. I was working in the education space first, and prior to that, working in the music and entertainment industry. So I combined those two worlds first. That was my first passion of bringing media, entertainment, pop culture, hip hop, youth culture into the classroom. And my first stint as a public speaker was in the education world, speaking to educators about the importance of using youth engagement, pop culture as a form of youth engagement to motivate young people. In doing that work, the demand for the content that I was showing in my workshops and in my presentations, teachers were asking me for these one-off lessons of like, hey, that lesson you showed on stage, do you have a version of that that I can use in the classroom? I was getting these requests all over the world. Um, so I just decided organically out of the demand to create an education startup, a tech platform where I can deliver these lessons, these like very engaging student centered pop culture, created lessons. And I started New School. So New School was my first ed tech startup, my first tech startup ever in the ed tech space in the very early days of ed tech. So I did that for a while. It was very successful. A lot of teachers and schools were subscribing. That kind of lived its life until I kind of hit a ceiling and realized that I needed more technology to automate, and this was pre AI. So in the late 2010s, I would say 2017, I started to look at what's the next step in my career, and I created Create Labs. So Create Labs, which the logo is on my hat, was my response to understanding that we needed to upskill our communities, especially the underserved communities, in tech skills. Seeing what normal jobs were capping out at from a salary standpoint and compensation wise was the starting point in a tech career. So someone's career might cap out at like 70, 80K. You're starting in the tech world at 70, 80K. So I'm like, hey guys, we need to learn these new skills. And I became everyone's kind of go-to thought leader on what are the next cutting edge skills, the next cutting edge technologies that we need to be exposed to take us into the future. Now, I was doing this as events and activations, what we call Create Fest, late 2010, like 2018, 2019, right in that same area. The pandemic hit in 2020. And it was in that window where I discovered that AI was going to be the next wave. And by some type of divine intervention or some type of luck, I was discovered by OpenAI to help them on the early stages of what we know as GPT-3 and now is ChatGPT.